no one wants to admit out loud. Most people don't value you. They value what you give. And once the giving stops, so does the pretending. That smile. Fake. That concern. Temporary. That friendship. Conditional. You don't really matter to them. You just matter to what they can take from you. And the moment you stop playing your role in their little play, the moment you stand still and ask, hey, what about me? They vanish, ghosted, erased, like you were never real to begin with. And I know how bad it hurts. Because you thought they cared. You thought walking with them meant something. But truth is, you were walking alone the whole damn time. Now, you want to know what's worse than being alone? Pretending you're not. You see, people think being alone is the worst thing in the world. They panic at the thought. They rush into rooms, into crowds, into fake friendships, just to avoid hearing the sound of their own silence. But let me tell you what's worse than standing alone. It's standing next to someone who doesn't give a damn whether you fall or fly. It's laughing with people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. It's sacrificing yourself for people who wouldn't cross a puddle for you. That's hell. That's betrayal in its rawest form. And yet we keep doing it. Why? Because we want to be seen. We want to matter. We want someone, anyone, to say, I see you. I care. But here's the brutal, filthy, ugly truth most people choke on. Not everyone who stands beside you is with you. Some just want your warmth, your light, your protection, your resources. And once they've drained you dry, they toss you to the wolves and say you were always too difficult, too sensitive, too intense. They'll twist your loyalty into weakness and your kindness into a flaw. And by the time you realize the game they're playing, it's too late. You're empty. And they're long gone, already feeding off someone else. So what now? What do you do when the people you stood for never stood for you? Do you shrink? Do you chase? Do you beg them to see your worth? No, you don't. You rise, alone. Cold, silent. You walk away from the crowd, even if it hurts, even if it bleeds, even if it means nights staring at walls, questioning everything. Because here's the power in standing alone. It's real. It's raw. It's you. No masks, no leeches, no fake handshakes. You finally get to see who you are without the noise. And that silence, that emptiness, it becomes your training ground. Your solitude becomes your rebirth. Because the ones who walked away, they never deserved to walk beside you in the first place. And the moment you realize that, the moment you accept that not everyone deserves access to you, you become dangerous. You become focused. Unbreakable. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing. You stop lowering your voice just so someone else feels tall. And don't let them come back. No. When they see you alone and glowing, when they realize you didn't fall apart like they hoped, they'll try to creep back in with old jokes, with fake apologies, with that I miss you act. Let them knock. Let them cry. Let them scream. But don't you open that damn door, because they chose to leave when you needed them most. They chose silence when your soul screamed. And now you choose peace. Let them feel the loss. Let them drown in their own guilt. That's the consequence of mistaking loyalty for weakness. That's what they get for treating a blessing like it was disposable. And maybe, just maybe, the silence you gave them will be louder than any scream they ever deserved. You know what's twisted? People don't realize they had something priceless until they're staring at an empty space they can't refill. And by then, it's too damn late. They'll replay the moments you stood there, giving everything without asking for much. They'll remember the times they made you wait, ignored your messages, brushed off your feelings, and they'll try to convince themselves it wasn't that bad. But deep down, they know. They know they messed up. They know they took advantage. They know they had someone who was real in a world full of fake. Someone who listened without judgment, stayed without reward, and gave without conditions. And they threw that away like it was nothing. Why? Because they thought you'd never leave. They believed your kindness was eternal, your patience bottomless, your loyalty unshakable. But everything has limits. Even the purest heart has a breaking point. Even the softest soul gets tired of being walked on. And the day you finally choose to walk alone, that's the day they lose access forever. That's the day you stop being the background character in their story and start becoming the main character in your own. People love to talk about how they miss the old you. But what they're really saying is they miss the version of you that tolerated their disrespect. They miss the fool who kept forgiving, kept answering, kept giving them another chance after another damn chance. They don't miss you. They miss the control. They miss the benefits. They miss the warmth they never earned. But they don't miss you because they never saw the real you to begin with. They were too busy using you to look deeper. They were too selfish to ask what you needed. And now that you've changed, now that you've gone quiet, now that you've built walls and burned bridges, they're lost. And good. Let them stay lost. Let them wander. Let them regret. That's the price of playing with something pure. That's the tax of betraying someone who would have given you the world. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't even owe them a goodbye. You owe yourself peace. And that peace starts the moment you stop looking back. And yeah, it's not easy. Walking alone ain't some fairy tale power trip. It's dark. It's heavy. There are nights where you stare at your phone hoping it lights up. Mornings where your chest feels like it's being crushed by silence. Days when you question if you were ever truly enough. But that pain, that's the withdrawal from fake love. That's the detox from people who drained you. And you gotta go through it. You have to face it. No shortcuts, no distractions, No going back. You fight through it, minute by minute, scream by scream, until you come out the other side harder, smarter, colder. That's what growth feels like. It's ugly. It breaks you. But it builds something better from the wreckage. You become someone who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg, who doesn't explain their worth to people too blind to see it. You stop auditioning for roles in people's lives you were never meant to play in the first place. You realize that the people who truly value you don't need to be convinced. They just know. They show up. They stay. They respect. And until you find those people, if you ever do, you walk alone with your head high. See, when you're alone, you're dangerous because you're focused, you're sharp, you're not distracted by drama or approval or fake connections. You're not out here proving anything to anyone. You've already proved it to yourself. You survived what they thought would destroy you. You kept moving when everyone expected you to collapse. You didn't fold. You didn't become bitter. You became wise. That's what standing alone teaches you. It teaches you to build your own table instead of begging for a seat at someone else's. It teaches you that silence isn't weakness, it's control. It teaches you that not everyone deserves your story, your energy, your presence. Some people are meant to be lessons, not lifelines. And once you learn that, once it really clicks in your bones, you stop clinging, you stop explaining, you stop needing anyone who made you feel like too much. Because you finally understand it's better to walk alone than to walk with people who only smile when you're useful. They'll try to rewrite the story later. Oh yeah, count on it. Once they see you glowing without them, thriving in the same silence they once used to ignore you, they'll come crawling back, but not as themselves. No. They'll come with a mask. One made of guilt, dressed up in nostalgia, wrapped in excuses like, I was going through a lot, or I didn't realize what I had. And you'll feel that sting in your chest. The one that wants to believe they finally get it. But don't fall for it. Because if they valued you, they would have fought for you when it mattered. Not after the damage was done. Not after they saw you pull yourself from the wreckage they helped create. That sudden clarity they have, it's not love. It's loss. It's them realizing they no longer have access to what they once took for granted. It's not regret for what they did. It's regret that you're no longer there to tolerate it. And you, standing stronger, colder, quieter, that's the karma. That's the punchline to their joke. You healed without them. You walked through hell with no guide, no support, and no safety net, and still made it out. You know what most people fear? Not being hated. No. What they fear is being forgotten, being irrelevant, being replaced. They don't exist. Because now you're no longer feeding their ego. You're no longer playing their game. You stopped trying to prove your worth to people who couldn't see it with a flashlight in the dark. And that's terrifying to them. Because now they see your value. Too late. Now they hear your silence. And it's louder than anything you ever said. They'll start watching from afar, stalking your peace, craving the energy they once treated like it was nothing. But they can't reach it anymore, because you finally realized the truth. They didn't deserve a front row seat in your life. Hell, they didn't even deserve to stand at the door. That's the shift that changes everything. When you stop basing your worth on how others treat you. When you stop begging for love that should have been given freely. When you stop explaining to people who never care to understand. You start walking alone. And for the first time, the road makes sense. You see clearer. You breathe deeper. And you realize something powerful. You are enough. Without the crowd. Without the applause. Without the validation. You're enough because you're still here. After everything. After every betrayal. Every